Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Online Game Doomsday. I became an NPC. Chapter 1. Parallel End Times. This world is full of zombies, mutated creatures, and many alien races. Human beings are the bottom of this world. The southernmost part of the central continent in the last days, the barren and small Scylla city. A handsome young man was hiding on a balcony on the third floor, staring at the group of zombies wandering on the street. After confirming the target, he took out the wound crossbow and aimed with bated breath. Call out. The next moment, the crossbow shot out of the air, and precisely pierced into the temple of one of the zombies. A ray of blood bloomed, and the zombie hit by the arrow fell directly to the ground, causing a commotion. The zombies dispersed after being frightened, looking for the operator who shot the crossbow. At this time, the boy had already escaped, and fled back to his safe house. 100 zombies. Finally killed enough. After confirming that he was safe, the teenager focused his attention on his mind. He breathed a sigh of relief when he saw the system information refreshed. Host assessment. Task data collection. 1. Collect a weapon and protective equipment. Square root. 2. Collect 100 kilograms of materials. Square root. 3. Clean up and restore a house so that it is safe to live in. Square root. 4. Kill 100 E-level zombies on the street. Square root. The 4 assessments of the system have finally been completed. The boy's name is Joe Zakan, and it has been a month since he traveled to this end of the world. As a traverser, he also has a standard system cheat. It's just that it's different from other free-for-traveler systems. To activate the system, he needs to complete the host assessment, collect preliminary task information. It is not easy for an ordinary person to survive in the last days, and Joe Zakan has to complete various system assessments, which is really too difficult. It also took him a month to finally reach the standard. Fortunately, the whole process of completing the assessment was safe and sound. What kind of system is it for me to come to Kangkong? It requires so many conditions to activate it. Joe Zakan curled his lips and continued to observe the information refreshed in his mind. Ding. The NPC system has been successfully activated. Please host to issue tasks to the players as soon as possible. NPC system. After Joe Zakan saw the information prompt, he directly leaked the black question mark face. Let me issue tasks to players as an NPC. How is this like a game? Is there such a real game? Joe Zakan cursed and said, and I've been in the end of the world for a month, and I haven't seen a single living person. Where can I find so-called players to post missions? Just when Joe Zakan was complaining, the system prompts sounded in his mind one after another, and a series of messages swiped in his mind. Ding. Online game template loading. Easy Twilight game template loaded. The Hero game template is loaded. White Soul game template loaded. Zombie game template loaded. Stick the game template. Demon game. God Valley 9 Desolation. Online game template integration complete. The game client is being uploaded. Please ask the host to give the game a name. Online game template. Upload the game client. Joe Zakan was startled. No way, this world can really be turned into a game. Joe Zakan thought for a moment, and finally typed the name True Doomsday in the column of the game name. And right in the game introduction column, 100% realistic world. This is not a game, this is the real end of the world. After getting the game name and game introduction, other modules immediately appeared on the system interface in my mind. Personal attributes, equipment bar, backpack, chatbox and other common game functions are all complete. And Joe Zakan himself had blood and blue stripes on his head. Joe Zakan glanced at his health bar and said excitedly, System, I'm an NPC now, does that mean I won't die? I can be resurrected even if I die. System, although the host is an NPC, the real body is in the last days and will face real death. Only players with bodies constructed by the soul-wearing system can enjoy the resurrection function. Gah. Seeing the system's reply, Joe Zakan was in a bad mood on the spot. Originally, I thought that after activating the system, I would be able to embark on the awesome road. As a result, I just became a toolman NPC to issue tasks. And is it the kind that may hang up in minutes? System. In order to ensure the survival of the host, the NPC protection mode has been enabled, and the online game mall has been opened. NPC Protection Mode. Players who attack NPC will be severely punished. Online Game Mall. The online game mall contains all the equipment, skills, and props of online games that have been loaded, and the host can redeem them with points. Joe Zakan glanced at the online game mall, and immediately widened his eyes excitedly. Survival props of Stay Dead. Zombie Tower Defense Plants. Hero Various Equipment. Easy Dusk Skill Combination. Even all kinds of cultivation techniques, pills, and fairy weapons in Shengu Juhuang. As long as Joe Zakan has enough points, all of them can be redeemed from the online game mall. What's more, the online game mall also has teleportation items for various games. Maybe one of them can bring him back to Blue Star. This month's worry is not in vain. After seeing the online game mall, Joe Zachuan's mood immediately improved, and a smile could not help showing on the corner of his mouth. With the props from the online game mall, he can not only solve his survival crisis but also strengthen himself further. The points are enough to exchange for teleportation items. After the strengthened Joe Zakan returns to Blue Star, he can't take off from Woohoo. Now, just wait for the players to go online. Joe Zakan took a deep breath and said to himself, Blue Star, 2121. In this era, virtual reality games have become mainstream. Players are used to entering the virtual game through the game cabin. Yan Country, in a certain game barn cafe. Song Wei, who was sitting 5 times in a row, put on a pain mask and exited the immersion mode. He turned on the voice and several others complained. WDNMD, I won't fight anymore. I've been abused. Someone in the voice responded with a smile. It can't be helped. Who let us bump into the anchor's motorcade, and you chose your natal hero Suo Zij. This hero is too easy to target. This is a high emotional intelligence statement. Low EQ. That is so delicious. As long as the opponent dares to catch him, Song Hui's brother Suozi will dare to die. Song Wei glanced at his 0-12-0 record, and quit the game decisively. Forget it, play it yourself. I'll go play other games to adjust my mentality. Song Wei cut off the voice, and the interface switched to his game library. Shengu Juhuang. NPC interaction is quite fresh, but the upgrade content is too repetitive, and if you don't join the Fenglingyu Shadow Sect, your liver hurts. Big Bone Hero. Legendary Wolf is fun, but it's too scratchy, and the game is a bit difficult. Yongji Wushwang. The Black Silk Cult really doesn't poke, but it can't beat other people, and it's quite annoying to play. Quote. Song Wei hesitated for a while on the interface of the game library, but still had no idea of starting one of the games. It's still, find out if there are any new games to play. When he arrived at the new game recommendation page of the game platform, Song Wei propped his chin in his hands, and flipped through the pages in a somewhat sluggish manner. Until, a game cover randomly recommended by the corner caught his attention. This game is completely different from other games with beautiful graphics. Most of the game covers are beautiful scenery, two-dimensional girls with perfect looks and figures. And the background of the cover of this game turned out to be ruins. There are still a large number of corpses in the ruins, dripping with blood. Just looking at this bright red hue, you can feel the smell of blood rushing to your face. Not only that, there are also various alien races on the cover that are not human at first sight. These women of different races were dressed cooler than the other, and none of their key parts were covered. Seeing this kind of cover, Song Wei thought it was a little butter. Good guy, this game company is simply an expert in passing the review. Is this a game that I can play in Yangguo district without being a member? Song Wei paused, then clicked on the cover to enter the game introduction page. There is no game CG, no real machine demonstration, only a short one-sentence introduction. 100% realistic world. This is not a game, this is the real end of the world. Close black lens bracket. Seeing this, Song Wei couldn't help laughing. Even the current top game manufacturers dare not say that what they make is a 100% realistic game. This tone is too big. Isn't this false propaganda? And, the game is free. It won't be the kind of Krypton Gold game of, create happiness with salary, no money to play your XX, right? Adhering to the principle of criticism, Song Wei added real end times to the inventory and started the game after entering the immersive mode. In a blink of an eye, He entered the interface for entering the game ID. Pinch your face. Don't you even let your face be pinched. Song Wei also thought that he could make a 2277 cyberpunkry character model with chest and cows gathered together, but when the screen turned, he was asked to enter the ID. Pity. Song Wei sighed, and entered his most frequently used id prodigals away in the id column. After entering the id, a game prompt appeared in front of prodigals away's eyes. The countdown is 1 minute, and it will be sent to Central Continent Silla City in 1 minute. Close black lens bracket. As an old player, Prodigals Away knew that this was the time for the game to guide him as a novice. Soon, very common game modules appeared one by one in Prodigals Away's mind. The first thing Langs Away opened was character information. I don't know what my default character model looks like. I hope I can be 5 times as handsome as myself. Prodigals Away muttered and looked at the character model and character information. After observing his own appearance, he was shocked on the spot. More than 5 points. The character model is exactly the same as his real self. Does the game's character model directly scan the real body? There is something. Song Wei had some small expectations in his heart, and wanted to see how the game was doing. Character information. In addition to the character model that can be seen at a glance, there are several small modules such as equipment attributes, status, skills, and backpack. Taking advantage of enough time, Prodigals Away opened all the small modules and browsed carefully. Open black lens bracket equipment, close black lens bracket. Header, empty. Neck, empty. Shoulders, empty. Upper body, plain t-shirt white. Belt, empty. Lower body, ordinary trousers white. Shoes, ordinary casual shoes white. Wrist, empty. Ring, empty. Main hand, empty. Deputy, empty. Open black lens bracket attributes, close black lens bracket. Level, boxing LV1. Constitution, 10. Strength, 10. Dexterity, 10. Intelligence, 10. Physical attack power, 1-to-1 empty hand. Magic attack power, 0. Attack speed, 1.0 number of attacks per second. Movement speed, 10. Open black lens bracket state, close black lens bracket. Health, 100. Mana, 100. Stamina, 95%. Hunger, 80%. San value, 90%. Looking at his default character information, Prodigals Away narrowed his eyes and his expression became weird. These settings of attribute and status. How do they seem to be integrated from several games? Stitching. Prodigals Away shook his head. I don't care what he does with stitching or not, the most important thing is the quality of the game, whether it's fun or not is the key. The last guide before entering the game is in the settings option. The sensory adjustment function in the setting options caught the attention of Langs Away. All senses, whether negative or positive, can be adjusted in the range of 0 to 100%. Players can completely turn off negative feedback such as pain, overheating, overcooling, dizziness, etc., leaving only positive feedback to obtain a better gaming experience. Prodigals Away keeps all positive feedback 100%, there is nothing to worry about. As for negative feedback, he thought about it. For the sense of substitution, open 10%. It's just a game, 10% negative feedback won't hurt anything. Langs Away thinks there should be no problem with such a setting. As the reminder sounded in my mind, the 1-minute countdown ended. Immediately afterwards, Prodigals Away's eyes went dark. After his vision slowly recovered, he found himself in an alley. Going straight to the birth point. Don't you want to introduce some CG to introduce the plot? Prodigals Away couldn't help muttering. Even if it's a completely open world, you still need some background information. Does it really allow players to open up Wasteland from scratch? Just when he was about to give this real end times game a bad review in his heart. He was so shocked by the sight in front of him that he was speechless. There are corpses all over the ground, blood-stained streets, and even 10% negative feedback can smell the strong blood and rancid smell. Everything in front of me is exactly the same as described on the game cover and introduction. This is a post-apocalyptic world full of corpses. If only the content matched the cover introduction, it wouldn't surprise the prodigals away. What shocked Langs away into aphasia was the 100% realistic picture quality of the game. The scene in front of me is so real. Is this really a game? If it weren't for the fact that there are various game modules in his mind that can be clicked, the prodigals away would think that he has time traveled. Let's not talk about the gameplay. Just look at the picture quality. This game is simply blown away by the 3A masterpieces of those big game manufacturers. This game is definitely a work of the next generation. No, even the next generation can't achieve this effect. While the prodigals away sighed, he couldn't help feeling suspicious. From the point of view of picture quality, the money spent on developing this game is at least in the unit of 100 million yuan. Why is the game now on the platform without any publicity? It's not like all the real money is used to make games, and there is no money for publicity, right? Thinking of this, prodigals away hastily glanced at the real end times information on the game platform. Except for an NPC system studio, there is no other information. Which big factory is this studio? Why have I never heard of it? Prodigals away muttered. Let's play it first, kill a few monsters to see the impact and growth feedback. If the gameplay is also good, I will help promote this game. The prodigals away was thinking, and walked out from the empty alley. At the corner of the alleyway, as soon as the prodigals away walked over, he was so frightened that he took a step back. In the alleyway on the other side after the corner, there were actually 3 zombies. Fortunately, I reacted quickly, otherwise I would be killed around the corner. The prodigals away was still in fear. The 3 zombies found the figure of the prodigals away, and staggered towards him. Fortunately, the walking mode of these zombies is like that of The Walking Dead that has been released for more than 50 seasons this year. If it was the old movie Zombie World War 100 years ago, then I guess I'm cold now. The prodigals away took a deep breath and backed away nervously. Faced with a few zombies under the 100% realistic picture quality, he still panicked. I have to find a weapon quickly. Prodigals away tilted his head and looked around the ruins, his eyes searching. Bricks, steel bars, there are only these building materials. Prodigals away frowned. I can't help it, just use it, it's better than empty hands anyway. He bent down and pulled out a steel bar more than 1 meter long from the ruins. Obtained a steel bar. After the system prompt appeared, prodigals away looked at his equipment bar. At this time, the steel bar has been equipped to his main hand and the equipment information jumped out at the same time. Rebar, quality, white ordinary, physical attack power, 4 to 10. Durability, 10 out of 10. Prodigals away's attribute middle empty hand 1 to 1 physical attack has also been replaced by steel bar 4 to 10 physical attack. This steel bar has good attack power. Prodigals away was a little surprised. He didn't expect that the attack power of a steel bar he drew was so much higher than his empty hand. Seeing the zombies getting closer and closer to him, prodigals away held the steel bar and posed with a sword. After playing thousands of suo-zige in virtual reality games, Langs away also has a good proficiency in using swords. Now, it depends on how much combat power this body can display with the steel bars. Prodigals away squinted his eyes, judging the distance between the zombie and him. After the zombies entered the attack range, he thrust his sword forward and stabbed one of the zombies in the head. Ha, saw, with prodigals away's own dubbing, -80 damage feedback floated out of the zombie's head. The blood bar of this zombie 50-50 was emptied directly and fell backwards. The zombie was killed in one blow, and the tension of the prodigals away immediately weakened a bit. This game doesn't seem very difficult, it should be a relaxed survival game. The corner of Langs away's mouth gradually swelled. He muttered, stepped forward and cut, and rushed forward to the remaining 2 zombies. The steel bar continued to swing, piercing straight into the abdomen of a zombie. Open black lens bracket -14 close black lens bracket. This time the damage feedback is greatly reduced compared to before. It seems that creatures like zombies still have to hit the head, and the damage to other parts is too low. Prodigals away pulled out the steel bar inserted into the zombie's abdomen, and continued to stab at the head. This kind of operation can quickly reduce the number of zombies, but he will also be attacked by another zombie. Prodigals Away didn't care about this at all. It's just a little bit of damage, no big deal. He plays games to be elegant and handsome. As long as you can walk through the crowd and enjoy silky smoothness, it doesn't matter if you die. There was a poof. The damage of -70 floated out from the head of the zombie, and the Prodigals Away knocked down a zombie again. But at the same time, he was also thrown down by the remaining zombie. The zombie opened its rotten half-mouth and bit his arm. Next moment, it's the scream of killing a pig. Ah, WDNMD. It hurts me to death. A piece of flesh was bitten off by a zombie, and the 10% pain sensation also made the Prodigals Away howl loudly. On the upper floor of a residential building not far away, Joe Zakan was startled when he heard the screams. This voice, is it human? Joe Zakan looked at the Real End Times client uploaded by the system. Above shows, number of people online, 1. A player really came in. Joe Zakan was a little excited at first, but when he recalled the scream just now, his excitement calmed down immediately. Shouting that on the streets of the city, isn't it cool? Joe Zakan opened the host special map to view. Sure enough, with this shout, a large number of red dots on the map rushed into an alleyway. At this time, the Prodigals Away was surrounded by layers of zombies. His body cannot escape the fate of being eaten by zombies. Fortunately, this game can be forcibly quit, otherwise the Prodigals Away would really feel what it feels like to be 10% dead. After the system-constructed body died, the Prodigals Away returned to the empty space before. Shown in front of my eyes. Resurrection time, 42 seconds. Note below, resurrection time equals addition of 4 attributes x level seconds. Close black lens bracket. This is the time required for the system to rebuild the body with the same strength. The Prodigals Away did not wait for the resurrection, but chose to quit the game directly. The scene of the tide of corpses rushing towards him just now has already given him a psychological shadow. I'm really afraid, but he felt that this game was really exciting. I have to ask a few people to join me, to be more courageous. Immediately after the Prodigals Away exited the game, he connected to the voice channel of the Black Friday series. Have you finished the game? Join me in a new game to open up Wasteland after the game. The voice replied, hurry up, 20 minutes soon. The head ratio was 18-1, and the inning was cast in 15 minutes. As a result, the passer-by teammates secretly clicked, no, to torture us. Don't blame passers-by. We gave away 17 out of 18 heads, and passers-by's record is 1/1. Quote. There was nearly a minute of silence on the voice side before a voice appeared. Finally 20 minutes are over. It's really torture. By the way, Song Wei, what game do you want us to play? Song Wei replied with a smile, a game that beats all the 3A masterpieces on the market, I promise not to let you down. Impossible, why haven't we heard of such a game? That's right, we are all core players. If this game is really as good as you said, we must have heard of it. Song Wei curled his lips, and said angrily, I don't know why this game company didn't do publicity. Besides, why am I lying to you? Can I even charge advertising fees? I'm pure tap water. Stop talking nonsense, play the game and you'll know if what I'm saying is true. Search for Real End Times on the platform. Not long after Song Wei finished speaking, doubts appeared on the other end of the voice. I'm going, this game is actually free. A super 3A masterpiece for free. Are you kidding me? Did you forget that the free one is the most expensive? So, is this a Krypton Gold online game? Song Wei took a deep breath, and responded, don't say it, if Krypton Gold online games can achieve this quality, what's the point of Krypton 1 Krypton? Wait until you enter the game to see if there is a Krypton Gold function. If there is, I will drop 10,648 directly without further ado. No, you kid has always been a zero Krypton party, and you would rather be tortured to death by the Krypton Gold boss than Krypton's first gift bag. This game can make you Krypton Gold. Do you even shoot 648 directly? Is this game really so good? Seeing that Song Wei, such a 10,000-year zero Krypton party, was like this, the other 4 people in Wulian sat no longer hesitated, and clicked the game to store and start it. Prodigals Away logs into the game. Smash your skull to land the game. I have 3 levels of headers logged into the game. Always drop God to log in the game. Shi Yisuk logs into the game. After Wu Lianzi logged into the game, the login information was immediately refreshed on the system interface. Joe Zakan ran to the window immediately after seeing the login information, and looked at the direction of the player's blue mark on the map. 5 people, more than 100 zombies, can these guys escape? Joe Zakan couldn't help muttering. The location where Prodigals Away and the others logged in was still the alley full of zombies. Before they had time to be shocked by the 100% realistic picture quality of the game, they were already chased by zombies and ran all over the street. Forever dripping God. WDNMD. My pants are wet, I don't want to play anymore. Psychisuk. Half of the zombies' face fell on me just now, it feels so real. I have a 3rd level head, this is really a game. Why do I feel so tired from running, even more tired than running in reality? Break your skull, the most important thing is that it stinks. This blood and carrion smell makes me sick. Prodigals Away. You didn't listen to me and turned the negative feedback to 0%, did you? Turn off all the stuff, and you won't feel the decline in physical strength and the smell. I have a 3rd level head. Turning off all negative feedback is so interesting, playing games is to have a sense of substitution. Empathy. The prodigal son Wei paused, squinted his eyes and continued to ask, how much pain do you feel? 80%. Prodigals Away. Prodigals Away, who had experienced 10% pain, immediately widened his eyes. Before he could make a sound to remind me, a zombie next to me jumped on my 3rd level head and took a bite. Then, there was another heart-piercing scream. Ah, Prodigals Away rushed over and kicked the zombie to help me out. Stop yelling, turn off the negative feedback. I have level 3 head with cold sweat on my forehead adjusting in the settings. The remaining 3 people were also frightened by the appearance of my 3rd level head, and they were distracted to operate in the setting while running. After all the staff turned off negative feedback, the operation of several people was obviously much smoother. Now they are all predators who can't feel pain, and skin trauma won't affect their speed. And these zombies in the Walking Dead mode are very slow. As long as you ensure that you are not surrounded and don't rush forward in front of the zombies like the prodigal son Wei, you can basically guarantee your safety. After taking some damage, Wu Lianzuo finally broke out from the alley. Bite and scratch, I don't lose much blood, but there is an extra G virus in the status bar, which makes me continue to lose blood. Shi Yisuk glanced at his character information and said worriedly, if I don't clear this debuff, I will be killed by the virus sooner or later. I'll just die. At worst, I'll be resurrected later. The problem now is what to do with the zombies that follow. Prodigals Away glanced at the fan brigade behind him. Although the moving speed of the zombies can't keep up with them, it doesn't mean that the zombies will stop their pursuit. At this time, a large number of zombies followed behind them. Hide first, run like this sooner or later. GG, the consumption of stamina has already reduced my movement speed by 2 points. Everlasting D. Shen took a deep breath and suggested. Look at the map, there is a yellow exclamation mark in the building in front. There is an NPC inside. I have always been in the habit of looking at the mini-map, and I found Joe Zakan on the 3rd level. Go there, maybe the NPC can help us. Prodigals Away nodded and said, and jumped into the building where Joe Zakan was. These players are poisonous. Seeing Wuyong's zombies pouring into his residential building on the street, Joe Zechuan's face turned black. After finally cleaning up 100 zombies in front of the house, the risk factor of traveling has been greatly reduced. Now, a super double directly to him. Fortunately, the entrance to the corridor on this floor has been sealed, leaving only a narrow entrance, and the zombies action mode can't get in at all. Even if there is a wave of zombies besieging the city, I will not be in danger. Joe Zakan turned his head and glanced at the supplies in the room, heaved a sigh of relief and said, the supplies can last for a long time, so let's wait for more players to come online and maybe help me out. At this time, there were hurried footsteps in the stairwell. Wu Lianzuo had already reached the floor where Joe Zakan was, and was trying to get into the aisle through the narrow entrance. Hurry up, the zombies are about to catch up. The Prodigals Away urge the eternal drop. Forever drop. God's slightly fat body can only wriggle a little bit deeper at the entrance, and the speed of entry is very slow. Already in the aisle, I have a third level head, smash your skull and pull in front, while the prodigals away and Psychisuke frantically kick Eternal God's ass behind. Hurry up and go in. The four of them dragged, and with their joint efforts, they finally pushed the Forever God through the entrance. Forever God lowered his head and took a look. There were layers of blood marks on his waist and abdomen. If the pain feedback hadn't been turned off, he would have been screaming in pain by now. You go ahead, I'll help you block the zombies. Outside the entrance, Prodigals Away pushed Shiyisuke, turned around, picked up the bricks on the ground and threw them down the corridor. Shiyifu was thin and small, and passed the entrance in one shuttle. Only the Prodigals Away was left in the corridor to deal with the zombies. The Prodigals Away glanced behind him, calculating the distance in his heart. After throwing the bricks, he slammed across the entrance. Just past halfway, but suddenly couldn't move. It wasn't because of his size that he was stuck, but because his right leg was caught by the chasing zombies. Seeing this, the other four people hurried forward and dragged him back into the aisle. And on Prodigals Away's right ankle, there was an extra wound with deep bone visible. Forever God just took a look at the prodigal son Hui's ankle, and then said, "You," almost spit it out. I heard the phone ring, I stopped playing. Shiyifu directly pierced it. Come on, your phone is connected to the game cabin, if someone comes to you, you can talk directly without distraction. Eternal God has put on a pain mask. Even if the smell of rancidity and blood is blocked, the things I see with my eyes are enough to make me feel physically uncomfortable. Psycho. Why is a post-apocalyptic game so realistic? It's not such a full-bodied game, would I recommend it to you? Although the Prodigals Away had a deep cut on his ankle, he still talked to the God of eternity like a normal person. I admit that this game company is awesome. But it's too real. I can't stand it. Forever God still wanted to quit the game, but what Prodigals Away said next made him completely give up the idea. Then, think about those girls from different races with good looks and top figures on the cover of the game. Forever dripping God. I suddenly feel like I can play this game again. The rest of the people were also shocked when they heard this. The young lady of the alien race on the cover is a real first-line female star. If it is also 100% realistic. Wu Lian sat thinking of this, unconsciously revealing a tricky smile. Sure enough, GHS is the primary productive force. Joe Zakan, who heard the conversation in the house, couldn't help shaking his head, but according to the system introduction, those alien races and humans are hostile. With their strength, they might kill you as soon as they raise their hands. Do you still want to hook up? Isn't this courting death? Quote. Joe Zakan took a deep breath, walked out of the room with his crossbow in hand. He looked at Wu Lian and asked with a straight face, "It's you who brought the zombies here?" Facing Joe Zechuan's questioning, instead of feeling guilty or remorseful, Wu Lianzuo even chatted excitedly. I'm right. There is an NPC here. And there is an exclamation mark on the NPC's head. It seems that there is a task for us. This should be the old man of Shinsho Village in this game. Let the old man of Shinsho Village give you some equipment. He is chased by these zombies with his bare hands. He has no experience in the game. Yeah, give me some equipment. I don't want to pick anything. I don't need a gun, just give me a chainsaw. Let's forget about the chainsaw. It is estimated that the wave of zombies outside will lose all the durability before killing them. It is best to use a cold weapon. That's right. Give me a samurai sword or tang sword, and I can cut down the entire apocalypse. Call out. While the few people were talking, a crossbow arrow flew out, directly piercing the head of the Prodigals Away. I'll ask again, are you the ones who brought these zombies here? After sniping and killing a player, Joe Zakan remained expressionless and repeated the previous question in a cold voice. The remaining 4 people sitting in 5 consecutive seats were collectively stunned. Are the NPCs in this game so fierce? Kill players when they meet. I guess, we dragged the zombies here and angered this NPC. I thought about it with a 3rd level head. Nonsense. If you stay here and take care of yourself, suddenly several people block your door with hundreds of zombies, are you angry? Smashing your skull echoed. I understand the truth. But this is an NPC. Because we attracted a wave of zombies and would kill us, it's inevitable. Everlasting D. Shen whispered. With the 100% realistic quality of this game, I think it makes sense. Shiyifu nodded slightly and said, "This is the end of the world. Don't say that we angered this NPC and lowered our favorability, but he didn't do anything. He might kill us all in order to rob supplies." Quote, "Don't NPCs all follow the set script? There is also the favorability. Could it be? The NPC in this game is a perfect AI with independent personality. Even the current big game manufacturers can't achieve this level. I thought of a possibility with a third level head, and my face was full of surprise. I've already made this kind of 100% realistic picture quality, so it's not so rare to have a perfect AI." Forever Dishin continued. "Then what should we do now? Can we still take on the task on this NPC's head? You asked after breaking your skull. Forget about accepting the mission, whether you can survive is another matter. Fortunately, we are all new accounts, so it doesn't matter if there is a death penalty." Shiyifu looked at Joe Zakan with a heavy breath. "Wait, there is only one person, should we try to kill him?" Forever God thought for a while, and said, "I played a game called God Realm before, and most of the NPCs in it can be killed, and it doesn't affect the game progress at all. I think it's feasible. Why are you afraid of an NPC?" I rushed towards Joe Zakan as I said that. The pain adjustment is 0%, and the new number is not afraid of death punishment, which gave him the courage. And at the moment when he really started to move, an invisible electric current hit him. Plop. This current directly caused me to fall straight to the ground with a 3-stage head. I am not 0% of negative feedback, am I? How? How come? I had a third level head lying on the ground twitching, and my whole body was paralyzed by the electric shock. In Joe Zechuan's mind, a system prompt NPC protection has been activated also popped up. In order to prevent the player from rushing the NPC Joe Zakan, the system uses electrotherapy for the player that ignores negative feedback regulation. If you give me a third level leader, you will be stunned. Why are you standing there? Hurry up. After recovering a little bit, I urged my teammates to do it. He can't be the only one enjoying electrotherapy. Hehe, you think we're stupid? Saikisuke raised his eyebrows and said. Forever God nodded slightly. It seems that this game can't attack NPCs who are also human. At least, this grandpa of Shinsho village can't attack. Smashed your skull and said, then we can only be slaughtered by others. No way. Who told us not to consider the aspect of NPC favorability? Now we can only communicate with this NPC and see what he has to say. Shiyifu waved his hand, signaling his teammates to calm down. Seeing that the players in front of him were stunned, Joe Zakan also put down the crossbow in his hand. Killing a player has already vented his dissatisfaction. If you continue to kill him, there will be no players to do tasks for him. You haven't answered me yet. Joe Zakan looked coldly at the players in front of him. He originally thought that the player's online life would make his life easier in the last days, but these guys took away his freedom of travel as soon as they came up. He can't take it. We were chased here by zombies, and we didn't know there were people here. Saikisuke thought for a while, and replied in a role-playing way. He can't say that there are NPCs on the map, they want to come to pick up the mission, and then hope that the NPC will help them deal with the zombies. It is estimated that even if you say that, the NPC will ignore these lines that jump out of the game. So it's like this. Joe Zakan cooperated with the performance, but he was already cursing in his heart. I believe you, ghost. With his own mark on the map so obvious, how could he not know that he was in this residential building? And as soon as he came up, he went straight to this corridor, obviously coming towards him. Forget it, don't worry about these anymore. Quickly assign tasks to these players, and helping me earn points is the most important thing. Joe Zakan paused, then continued. I need your help with something, I don't know if you would like it. The remaining Si Lian Zuo were obviously taken aback when they heard the words. This NPC's face change is too fast. You wanted to kill them just now, but you turned around and asked for their help. Perhaps Joe Zakan himself felt that it was a bit against the harmony, so he slowly raised his crossbow and added, if you don't want to, then you are useless. Take the crossbow to force the player to do the task, if you don't do it, you will die. Such behavior should be in line with the current situation. Joe Zakan thought. Yes, of course I am willing. If you have anything to say, just say it. Shi Yifu hurriedly responded. Slow your mouth, being stabbed to death by a crossbow arrow is a small matter. The most important thing is that if you can't receive the task of the old man in Novice Village, it means that you will lose the gift pack for beginners in this game. This is a disaster for game development. As the remaining few people nodded in agreement, a system prompt popped up in Zhou Zechuan's mind. Open black lens bracket. Please select the task to release to the player. Close black lens bracket. 1. Equipment collection. Personal. Task requirement. Help Zhou Zechuan find a weapon. Difficulty rating. F. Task reward. Randomly unlock a weapon. White manufacturing. Reward 100 copper. 2. Material collection. Individual. Task requirements. Help Zhou Zechuan collect 10 kilograms of food. Difficulty rating. F. Task reward. Randomly unlock a piece of food. White manufacturing, and reward 100 copper. 3. Infrastructure. Personal. Task requirements. Clean up any house in this residential building and restore it to a safe place to live. Mission rating. E. Task reward. You can have the right to use the safe house, and you can set the respawn point, and you will be rewarded with 1 silver. 4. Remove threat. Individual. Team. Task requirements. Kill 100 E-level zombies. Task difficulty. D. Task reward. You can choose a weapon. White or protective gear. White, and you will be rewarded with 10 silver. Fruit knife, kitchen knife, wooden shortbow, incomplete stab-proof clothing, hiking boots. After the task can be selected, a prompt about the host points pops up. The host points that Zhou Zechuan gets are directly proportional to the difficulty of the player completing the task. F-level task, 1 point. E-level task, 10 points. D-level task, 50 points. Class circa, comma. Looking at the task information, Zhou Zechuan couldn't help frowning. System, how do I distribute the task rewards? I don't have these things myself. System, all task rewards for players are issued by the system. Hey, that's easy. Zhou Zechuan smiled, so that he didn't have any burden in his heart. If you don't need to consider the task rewards, then I can distribute all the tasks to the players at once. In this way, the speed of earning points and the speed of players getting rewards can be maximized, a win-win situation. Quote. System. Each player can only receive 1 personal mission and 1 team mission from the same NPC. Zhou Zechuan. The system's reminder directly shattered Zhou Zechuan's idea of making the most of the players as workers. Wouldn't it be that before I can issue high difficulty tasks, the points I get will always be slow? Zhou Zechuan frowned. With the speed of obtaining 1 point and 10 points, when will he be able to exchange hundreds of thousands of points for immortal cultivation game items? He really wanted to quickly feel what it was like to take off from Woohoo with a sword. System. The host can exchange intelligent AI chips into the body of the system to create more NPCs. The self-created NPC is 100% loyal to the host, and the player will receive the same points after completing the mission. Quote. Hearing the system's reply, Zhou Zechuan's eyes lit up. As long as he can have a large number of self-created NPCs, even if it is only a low-level task, his point acquisition speed will be extremely exaggerated. Looking at the host mall again, the smart AI chip only needs 100 points. This is a lucrative deal. After Zhou Zechuan cleared his mind, he decided to issue 2 tasks of infrastructure construction and remove threat to Lian Zuo in front of him. One is to consider the maximization of points acquisition, and the other is to consider development. Zhou Zechuan only cleaned the floor of his safe house and the upper and lower floors of the entire residential building. After finding a crossbow, he chose to develop insignificantly and slowly complete the system assessment, giving up his plan to clean up all the zombies. There are still 22 floors left in this 25-story residential building, which hide a large number of zombies and supplies. Now that some players are online, such a dangerous job just happened to be handed over to them. Just clean up all the zombies in this building and do some basic protection. This residential building can become the real initial novice village for players. Zhou Zechuan took a deep breath, and said to Lian Zuo in front of him. I originally had a safe living environment, but now, not only can I not go out, but I am always worried about whether zombies will come in through the entrance. Lian sat and heard the words, and there was some embarrassment on his face. this matter. No matter what, it's their fault. So, I need you to help me clean up the zombies in this residential building, and repair the house and make fortifications to ensure that it can resist the invasion of zombies. As soon as Joe Zakan finished speaking, a task prompt popped up in Si Lianzuo's mind. Task: Infrastructure Construction. Accept, reject. Task: Clear threat. Accept, reject. After Si Lianzuo browsed the detailed task information, he chose to accept without the slightest hesitation. Having a good respawn point and a usable weapon is really important for the current situation. Infrastructure is quite easy to do, just pick any room on this floor. Shi Yifu looked at the task information and analyzed. Remove threat, kill 100 zombies, this is a bit troublesome. The most important thing is that we now have bare hands and no weapons. It is difficult to solve 100 zombies just standing still for us to kill. Quote, let's search for things first. I had a third-level leader suggest, with so many houses, we can't find hot weapons. It's easy to search for 1 or 2 fruit knives, frying pans and so on. Follow my rhythm, I'm good at searching things. Hey, don't even think about getting the task rewards, first check your own state. Everlasting God reminded. Si Lian sat for a while, and was shocked when he focused on the status bar. Because of the G virus infection, their SAN value has dropped to 60%. The blood volume also dropped to 70 points due to the continuous bleeding of the wound. If things go on like this, they will either lose all their SAN values, or their wounds will bleed to death. How about we go directly to send a wave and revive it? I had a third-level leader suggest. Shi Yifu nodded, this is a way, but I still suggest trying to complete the infrastructure construction task first. Before dying, it is best to set the resurrection point here first. If the resurrection is in that alley, it will be difficult to get close to it in a short time, and the difficulty of completing this infrastructure task will directly increase. Speaking of resurrection, where is the prodigal son Weiren? Why hasn't there been any movement for so long? Breaking your skull reminds me of the prodigal son Wei who was shot through by an arrow from an NPC before. Now the body of the prodigal's Wei is still lying in the aisle. He sent me a message, and now he is picking up trash in the ruins, let's have fun first. Shi Yifu replied with a smile, that remove threat task we received as a team 1. He is killing zombies outside now, and we have a settlement, which is just right for paddling. Break your skull and take a look at the task information, the entry information has indeed changed. Kill 100 E-level zombies, 0 100ths, right pointing arrow, 6 100ths. This guy is fine, he killed 6 zombies in such a short time. After breaking your skull, he took a deep breath and said, have you forgotten that the large army of zombies has already been attracted here by us? Saikisuke said, as long as such weak zombies are not large scale, they will not pose a threat to us at all. Then he should have already leveled up. Forever God asked. It's been upgraded, Shi Yifu said with a weird expression. He said that his steel bar level has been raised from LV1 to LV3, and at the same time, he has also increased some experience points for strength, agility, and physical attributes. Reinforcement upgrade. Does the occupational division of this game depend on what weapon is used? It should mean that. Shi Yifu waved his hand, and urged, let's start too. If it takes too long, the prodigals away will have another meal later. Forever dripping God nodded, turned and entered a room next to him. Just 2 steps in, he scrambled out, there are zombies inside. Didn't you notice that there is a fruit knife stuck in the zombie's head? Joe Zakan glanced at the room and said slowly, there are no living zombies on this floor, you just need to clean up the sanitation and repair the doors and windows. Joe Zechuan's reminder made Si Lianzuo suddenly realize. After all, it was the novice village mission, so it wasn't that difficult. Cillian sat down and discussed for a while, and decided to go to a house together to help a person complete the task, and then move on to the next one. This will ensure that someone has set up the resurrection point before they all die. 4 people entered the room. The first step is to carry the carrion that has been opened. Working together, they easily lifted the carrion to the aisle. The second step is to tidy up and clean up the dust that has accumulated over the years. In order to meet the task standards, it was the first time for the elders to clean up so seriously. The last step is to repair the broken doors and windows. Fortunately, This residential building only has traces of time, and the damage is not serious. Instead of the ruins beside the street, Silionzuo is not repairing doors and windows, but moving bricks to build a house. After finding tools and nailing a lot of wooden boards, Saikisuke holding the house key showed that the task of infrastructure construction had been completed. Map coordinates. Joe Zechuan's location also has an extra that can submit tasks. Shiyifu quickly came out of the house and found Joe Zechuan to submit the task. Joe Zechuan just nodded, and didn't add drama or lines to himself, and let the system issue rewards directly. Congratulations to Shiyifu for becoming the head of household at Unit 1502, Building 1, Beluo Community. As the game prompt appeared, the remaining 3 people sitting in a row were directly kicked out of the room by a force majeure. Why did I come out? The few people standing in the aisle were stunned. Shiyisuke waved at them. It seems that because this house belongs to me, I didn't allow other people to enter, so. Is there a room like this in the last days? Doesn't that mean that you can guarantee that there is absolutely no danger in your own safe house? How can it be so stable? Shiyifu shook his head. According to the information prompt, no matter if it is a player or other creature, as long as it breaks the protection, it can enter at will. The protection of my room is just that door. Quote, okay, I've allowed my teammates to enter. Let's talk in my room first. You can recover san and stamina in the safe room. Joe Zechuan, who was listening on the sidelines, narrowed his eyes. Does the safe house have this effect? Why don't I feel it? System. These are the effects of integrating online game templates, which can be used by players and NPCs. In other words, what would a place without players and NPCs look like? Joe Zechuan took a deep breath, and sighed. Isn't this integrated online game template the gold finger of all players? But in comparison, I seem to have a bigger hang. Going back to the 4-in-1 sitting in the house, because the SAN value that the G virus continued to drop has rebounded somewhat. However, the bleeding from the wound did not improve. Although they can still communicate like normal people, their faces are already pale, and they are not far from hemorrhagic shock. It seems that the task can't be finished. I had a 3rd-level head take a look at my state, and felt that I was about to die at any time. If you die and return to the alley, this task will probably be difficult to complete. Everlasting God smacked his mouth and said, that's right, the new game has just launched, and we'll have to compete with other players for resources after a while. Shattering your skull also frowned. Saikisuke, do you have a solution? I have a 3rd-level head looking at Saikisuke. Shiyifu is the support position in Wulianzuo, but he is also the commander in the team. It is not an exaggeration to say that he is the brain of the team. I'm trying. Wait a minute. Shiyifu snapped his fingers. I found it. I can bring your resurrection point here, remember to accept it. After some operations, Leonzuo breathed a sigh of relief. As long as the head of the household agrees, a house of this size can allow 5 players to set up resurrection points, just enough to accommodate us. Prodigals away will die soon. Let's go to the NPC to have a good time. Although the pain feedback can be adjusted to 0%, it's quite shocking to watch myself being dismembered by zombies. Leonzuo rushed to Joe Zechuan to show his intention to attack, and was immediately paralyzed by the system. Joe Zechuan also saw their plan, and each of them rewarded them with a crossbow bolt to finish them off. Not long after, there was movement in 1502. The resurrected Wu Lianzuo got together again. Where are my things? I've been picking up trash for so long, why are they all gone? Prodigal Zoe's shout penetrated the wall, causing the zombies in the corridor to become excited again. Aside from losing all the equipment, is there any other loss? Saikisuke asked. Prodigal Zoe went through his personal information, and said with a mask of pain, the level and attributes are not lost, but all the things I picked up before are gone. My equipment. Shiyifu took a deep breath and analyzed. So, the death penalty is the resurrection time and all the equipment carried. It seems that there will be no peace between players in the future. The setting of equipment that must be dropped upon death. There will be no less PK between players. When we get good things in the future, let's store them in our safe house first, and try not to hang them outside. Shiyifu reminded. Forever dropped his mouth and said, you can't just go out with a piece of junk equipment, let alone grab the boss, maybe even the mobs can't be killed. Hey, I'm familiar with the way of playing small and big with garbage equipment. I have a third level head and said with a smile, I used to do this kind of thing when I was playing Taco. Generally speaking, the chances of making money are relatively high. In the future, you can hang out with me, and you will never lose money. Let's talk about the future. Hurry up and do the task now. While there are not many players now, we must quickly accumulate resources. Shi Yifu clapped his hands, and motioned for a few people to complete the infrastructure construction task. With such a great location, these homes must be worth a lot in the future. With the previous experience and the fact that the 5 consecutive seats were all full, the remaining 4 houses on this floor were quickly cleaned up and repaired. Congratulations to Langzawei for becoming the head of household at Unit 1503, Building 1, Unit 2, Baluo Community. Congratulations to I have a third level head for becoming the head of household at Unit 1504, Building 1, Baluo Community. Congratulations to Break Your Skull for becoming the head of household at 1505, Unit 1, Building 1, Baluo Community. Congratulations to Eternal Digo for becoming the head of household at 1506, Unit 1, Building 1, Baluo Community. As the system prompts, all 6 houses on this floor have been declared as owners. Thanks for watching. Chapter 11. Even if we count our positions, there are still 20 resurrection positions left, and we can rent them out to other players when they go online. Shi Yifu said with a smile. As Zhang Jin's game businessman, he is well aware of the value of these houses. This is the position of neighbors with the grandpa of Shinsho village. If you want to pick up the task, just go to the next door and knock on the door, which is convenient and safe. With the quality of this game, Shi Yifu took a deep breath, and continued, I think it is necessary for us to quit our jobs and become full-time gamers. Wu Lianzuo is an ordinary worker, taking advantage of the holidays to get together with friends in the game warehouse cafe to have fun. It was such an ordinary black day, Shi Yisuk did not expect that the Prodigals Away could find a top-quality new tour. What's even more outrageous is that they are the first batch of players of this game. This is no different from a pie in the sky. Shi Yifu is very sure, with the advantages of their first batch of players, they can definitely use this game to make a lot of money. Direct wealth and freedom are possible. Wait a minute, we quit our jobs after playing the game for more than an hour. What if the game doesn't catch on? I frowned. Shi Yifu raised his eyelids, and asked, then what game do you think can compare with this on the market? Compared to a hammer, this 100% realistic picture quality alone can beat all major game manufacturers. Shatter Your Skull answered first, and, judging from the information obtained so far, players can choose almost any weapon to level up. In this way, various gameplay builds can be created. In terms of character growth alone, the gameplay is definitely not bad. The top-notch picture quality also has good gameplay. It is unreasonable for this game not to be popular. Quote. Hearing this, my third level head was also a little moved. His job is not a career editor, nor does he have a super high annual salary and good development prospects. You can resign completely and take a gamble on this game. I'll write a letter of resignation when I get back. My third level head said a little excitedly. Go back, I have resigned now. Prodigals Away scratched his neck and said very calmly. No, when you came to Kang Cafe, you said that you have to work overtime next week and you can't come out to work. My third level head squinted and asked in confusion, when did you resign? Just now, Prodigals Away responded. My small company, resigning from a text message, at most it will pressure me for a few days and not give me my salary, and it doesn't have much money. Since we have decided to become full-time gamers, let's continue. Seeing the decisiveness of the crowd, Shi Yifu was also a little emotional. Try to kill 100 zombies today. After the task is completed, we can choose the weapon we want to play and level up. Wait a minute, didn't we just hand in the task and get the silver coins? We should be able to buy something from the NPC. Prodigals Away suggested. It's best to buy some recovery items. It's too late to commit suicide if you get injured. That's right, you should buy G-virus serum and hemostatic drugs, otherwise injury is equal to death. Players have no game experience at all, and game planning won't be so brainless. Bang, bang, bang. Saikisuke said, walked to room 1501 and knocked on the door. Joe Zakan frowned and opened the door, thinking to himself, 100 zombies are killed so quickly. Are these guys dead? Although he was puzzled, he quickly stiffened his expression. I told you to kill the zombies, did you kill them? Can you make yourself useful? Saikisuke. When they met, they were sprayed, and Shiifu was a little confused. However, this is also my own fault. If there is really a good impression, the NPC in front of him will definitely have a negative affection for him. Shiifu calmed down, and said, I want to buy some recovery items from you. Serums, healing medicines and the like. Looking for me to buy props. Joe Zakan was stunned. As an NPC, he can have this function. Wait, with a bang, the door was closed again. Recovery props. Joe Zakan browsed in the host mall. In this month's Doomsday life, Joe Zakan, who spared his life, acted extremely cautiously. Even if it costs a lot of time, he has to make sure that he will not be in danger. He has not been injured for a month, and he has already forgotten about taking drugs to heal his injuries. Golden Sore Medicine, Qinglizi Type 1, Waiu Pill, Huazu Pill, Jojuan Weian Pill. There are quite a lot of recovery items. Joe Zakan scanned the host mall, and there were everything from common healing medicines to medicines that could bring the dead back to life. Continue to scroll down, all the way to the most basic ranks. Joe Zakan finally found the medicine that Shiifu and the others needed. G-Virus Serum, bandages, energy drinks, primary health potions, these recovery items should be enough for now. G-Virus Serum, 100 points for 1 point, immune to G-Virus after use, valid for life before the character dies. Bandages, 1 point, 100 rolls, can be used to stabilize wounds and stop bleeding quickly. Energy drink, 100 cans for 1 point, gradually recovers 10% of physical strength after taking it, and increases self-recovery ability by 20%. Elementary life potion, 100 bottles for 1 point, restore 30 points of health after taking it. Joe Zakan looked at the item introduction and thought about it. I currently have 50 points, which can be exchanged for a lot of basic medicines, but what's the benefit of selling them to players? Whether it's silver coins, gold coins, or Yanguo coins, it seems that they are useless to me, right? System. The host can recover player gold coins. 1 gold equals 100 points. 1 gold equals 100 points equals 100 silver. 1 silver equals 1 point equals 100 copper. The system gives a prompt. In this way, I can buy 100 basic recovery items with 1 silver, and the price of each item is 1 copper. After calculating the price, Joe Zakan used 4 points to exchange the 4 basic recovery medicines for 100 each, leaving 46 points. Pushing a few large boxes, Joe Zakan opened the door again. Serum, bandages, energy drinks, primary life potion, 50 copper each, do you want it? Shiisu nodded after checking the item information, and then called the other 4 people over. We now have 5 silver, which can buy 10 recovery items. Shiifu thought for a while, and said, 1 gram virus serum per person is definitely necessary. There are 5 props left. It is recommended to choose 3 rolls of bandages and 2 cans of energy drinks. Bandages to stop the bleeding, and then rely on energy drinks to increase recovery. The 30 health points of the little red medicine are unnecessary. After Shiifu took the silver coins from his teammates to buy medicine, he asked, Boss, do you have other things for sale? Such as weapons and armor. Yes, but you can't afford it. Joe Zakan replied. Basic medicines are the cheapest in the host mall, 100 for 1 point. But the most rubbish weapons and armors cost at least 10 points, that is, 10 silver coins each. Joe Zakan sold to players must not be super doubled, at least 50 silver to start. Boss, can I have a look at the goods? Saikisuke said unwillingly. Buy and can't afford it, what are you looking at? Joe Zakan waved his hand as a sign to drive away. Hurry up and kill the zombies, don't be an eyesore here. Saikisuke. With a bang, the door was closed again by Joe Zakan. Even if you can't afford it, take a look at the head office of the store. This NPC is too snobby. Broke in your skull frowned. It still has something to do with the degree of favorability, Shiifu analyzed. If the degree of favorability is enough, we should let us see it. Maybe the price of the product will be discounted. No. Why doesn't this game have a recharge interface? Free games don't allow Krypton Gold, doesn't this game company want to make money? Prodigals Away complained from the side. If it can be recharged, I will spend thousands of dollars and spend money. I don't believe this NPC still hates us. Shiyifu smiled, and said, I hope that this game will not be able to spend money, but it will benefit those of us players who want to make money from this game. If you can't Krypton Gold, the equipment produced by players will be more valuable. A piece of good equipment can be sold for several million Yan-Guo coins. Can there be so many? The other four were shocked. You are core competitive players, and there are still few online games. Shiyifu shook his head and said, the value of game equipment depends on the popularity of the game. You can also understand it as the ability of the game to attract big money. Krypton Gold Masters will not go to liver level and liver equipment like ordinary players like us. Their level depends on leveling, equipment depends on buying, and what they enjoy in playing games is the thrill of killing bosses and other civilian players. Quote, with the quality of this game, the number of Krypton Gold bosses will be terrifying. There are so many Krypton Gold Masters, and the equipment has a price but no market, and the price will only get higher and higher. A piece of top-level equipment worth millions of Yan-Guo coins is entirely possible. Quote, the other four people were all excited when they heard it, as if they had already deposited millions in their bank accounts. Let's go, go kill zombies. Prodigals Away held the kitchen knife in his hand and was about to walk towards the entrance of the corridor. And just as he took 2 steps, the whole person disappeared without any sign. The prodigal son benefits others. I was about to ask a third-level question, but my game character disappeared out of thin air before I finished speaking. The same thing happened to the rest of Wulianzuo. In a few seconds, the 15th floor of Unit 2, Building 1, Beluo community regained its previous silence. No one communicated, only the screams of zombies were left in my ears. Network administrator, why is my game compartment locked? Is there no internet fee? I can add more money if there is no internet fee. Don't just lock the phone for me. That's right, and I just charged 200 in my membership card. How could it be used up so quickly? Wu Lianzuo came out of the game cabin cursing. Just about to do a big job, the game room was locked directly, who can bear this? After receiving the complaint, the network administrator walked up to them and explained, I'm sorry, but your game room is already fully used today, and the system automatically locked it. Time is full. 4 hours so soon. Wu Lian sat and looked at each other. The warehouse they are in is the most common game warehouse, and prolonged use will cause damage to the body. Once the usage time reaches 4 hours, the system will automatically lock the machine. We just played a hero MOBA, and it was still a round of 20 shots. Doesn't it mean that we stayed in that Doomsday game for more than 3 hours? Prodigals Away suddenly said. Saichisuk also took a deep breath. It seems that this game is too immersive, it's over the top, and I don't feel the passage of time at all. What kind of game are you playing? The network manager was very curious when he heard Saichisuk say this. Most people will feel dizzy after staying in the game room for 2 hours, and will consciously quit the game room after 3 hours. It's been a long time since he saw the customers who filled the game room for 4 hours. And it's still 5 at a time. What kind of game is it that allows them to continue playing despite such intense physical discomfort? Hearing the name of the game from the network administrator, Wu Lianzuo paused, showing hesitation. They plan to become full-time players, but now they don't want to help promote the game. Although it won't take long for the game to be overcrowded, the advantage of being able to delay the first batch of players by 1 minute longer is 1 minute longer. You will soon know what the game is, so we don't need to say more. Shiyifu waved to the few people around him while speaking, gesturing to go quickly. Wu Lianzuo didn't say any more, and went straight out of the gaming warehouse. Not long after he walked out, the Prodigals Away revealed a puzzled expression. Strange, did we really stay in the game warehouse for 4 hours? How come there are no side effects at all? My third-level head also noticed it, and echoed, that's true. I usually feel like I've been through the night in the game room for 3 hours, and I'm in a trance. Today's time is full, and I don't even feel a little bit. Quote, is it because of the game? Break your skull and speculate. Some games are advertised as a side effect of the top position, but those are some games with rubbish picture quality, just like watching mosaics. If such a top-notch picture quality does not have the side effects of stocking up, this game is simply amazing. Quote. Eternal Drop God clapped his hands and said excitedly, I think we need to invest a wave, and build 5 latest game warehouses. Contains nutrient solution, and the top-level configuration of the game chamber will allow the system to monitor for an extra 4 hours. What kind of full-time player is one who does not trade for 8 hours a day? Quote. 8 hours of regular game storage, it will cost hundreds of thousands of Yan Guo coins. Prodigals Away said after taking a deep breath. It's not that price anymore. Shiyifu waved his hand and said, the hundreds of thousands of game warehouses were bought by the mine owner to mine virtual coins from the game warehouses. Now that the virtual currency has plummeted, mines are already in trouble, and the top game warehouse is only in the early 30,000s. Quote. Shiyifu thought for a while, and continued, I also think it is necessary to build a few sets of top game warehouses. Otherwise, it would be impossible to develop 4 hours a day. You still have more than 30,000 deposits, right? Quote. The other 4 nodded. While the mental state is still good, go to the physical store to buy the game warehouse now, and try to finish the installation today. Also, I think it is necessary to contact Stark City Stark. He's an expert at this type of game, and with him we can be competitive in the early game even though we're a small team. Quote. You're talking about the Star City Stark, it can't be. Prodigals Away narrowed his eyes, uncertain. I have a 3rd level head on the side, and took a deep breath. You don't know Star City Stark, right? He is a top player in survival games in the last days. I heard that he is also a master of technology and handicrafts in reality, and even built his own Doomsday shelter, which contains a bunch of high-energy products made by himself. Quote. Saikisuke nodded. That's right, that's the one you're thinking of. How? How did you know him? Everlasting God wondered. The most important thing is, why is he willing to join us? I used to hang out with him in a post-apocalyptic game, and helped him get a lot of materials at the lowest price. I didn't make any money, but I also accompanied him. After he inquired about the price, he said he owed me a favor, and if it was useful to him in the future, just say it. When Shiyisuke said this, he couldn't help laughing. I found us a super thigh. After Wulian sat offline, there were no new players in the last days for a long time. Joe Zakan also guessed that this would be the case. A non-Dachang game without any promotion, except for players like Lang Zawei who are so bored to renovate the game list, basically no one will see it. Without players, Joe Zakan just took advantage of his spare time to continue researching the online game template that also affects him. All weapons can be used to upgrade. Different weapons have different attribute values. Cold weapons such as knives and swords increase physical fitness, and strength is the main priority, followed by agility. If I use a crossbow, agility is the main priority, followed by strength. As for skills, you can redeem them with points in the mall, but my current level is not enough to learn them. Most of the players' skills are rewarded by completing the task system, and the second is to buy from NPC. In addition to the basic weapon level skills, there are a large number of sub-jobs: blacksmith, cook, alchemist, tailor, enchanter, etc. Most of the materials for sub-jobs are obtained through quests and purchased from NPCs. Quote. It seems, the points I earn by selling things to players may not be less than they complete the task. I know how to earn points. Then I have to think about my own survival. This time the players pulled over only the lowest E-level zombies, if it was a higher level mutant creature. The NPC Joe Zakan probably has to explain it here. The key now is how to use these points to save his own life. There are life-saving items such as the Cross of Rebirth in the mall, but they are too expensive, and it takes 1,000 points to exchange for one. If I don't strengthen myself first, it is very likely that I will not have the opportunity to exchange such items. Quote. Joe Zakan looked at the host mall, and after thinking twice, he chose to spend all the points he just got to strengthen himself first. The skill book is not enough to learn the level, and the good equipment is not enough to use the attributes. Sure enough, we still have to use the most primitive enhancement method. Eating books. You redeemed the Book of Life x3. Points minus 30. You redeemed the Tome of Power x1. Points minus 10. Book of Life. Add 1 point of Constitution after use. Book of Strength. Increase strength by 1 after use. Among the basic enhancement items, it is the most cost-effective to enhance the property book by eating books. Just about to choose to use the Book of Life and the Book of Power. The system suddenly prompts. To ensure the survival of the host, the novice benefits will be opened for a limited time, and the attribute will be increased by 10 times for 5 seconds. Close black lens bracket. Joe Zakan. Joe Zakan didn't procrastinate, and immediately ate the book, and his attributes changed dramatically. Constitution 9 right pointing arrow 39. Strength 8 right pointing arrow 18. The increase in attributes drives the changes in HP limit and basic attack power. HP 90 right pointing arrow 390. Physical attack power empty 1-1 right pointing arrow 2 to 3. The attack power is doubled with bare hands, and the attack power will also increase significantly after holding a weapon. Joe Zachuan's body, which was not even as good as the systematic construction of a physical body, has achieved a great transcendence in attributes. Compared with other players, Joe Zakan is now a lot of meat and has high damage. Strength 18 points, there are weapons that can be used. Joe Zakan continued to browse the host mall. After exchanging 4 attribute books, Joe Zakan still has 11 points left. Among them, 5 points are exchanged for 5 silver earned from players. The cheapest thermal weapons cost 50 points, otherwise it would be better to exchange for a gun than anything else. Joe Zakan took a deep breath, and had no choice but to shift his gaze to the cold weapon. The long-range weapon has a crossbow, so I need a melee one. Joe Zakan exchanged it for a bayonet that he could use after thinking about it. Good quality bayonet. Quality. Blue rare. Physical attack power. 30 to 40. Armor penetration. 10. Durability. 25/25. Required strength. 15. The cold weapon that can be exchanged for 10 points is not very powerful, but overall it is still much better than the garbage that can be picked up everywhere. After equipping the high-quality bayonet on the main hand, Joe Zachuan's attack power in the attribute column increased from 2 to 3 to 46 to 53. The strength attribute of 18 points has increased a lot of attack power. With this attack power, an E-level zombie should be able to take it for a second. Joe Zakan tilted his head to look at the entrance. A zombie was trying to get in through the narrow entrance, but because the movement mode was too clumsy, it got stuck after only half of its body. I just took you to test the knife. Joe Zakan walked to the aisle, bent down, raised the bayonet in his hand, and stabbed the zombie's head. PFF -517's damage feedback pops up. The bayonet pierced directly through the zombie's head. It's really sharp, Joe Zakan said in surprise. He had used fruit knives and kitchen knives to chop zombies before. Although he could kill zombies, but facing a hard head, it would be useless to cut a gap with a knife. And this bayonet can easily pierce even a skull. After all, it is produced by the system, and the most basic 10-point weapon can be so powerful. Get rid of a zombie stuck at the entrance. Joe Zakan didn't stop, he continued to stab the bayonet out along the barrier gap. -512, -510, -497, -484, -467, Following Joe Zachuan's operation, damage feedback popped up on the zombie's head one by one. The damage was extremely exaggerated compared to the zombie's health bar of less than 100 points. However, the characteristics of the zombies were also revealed at this moment. Even if the damage has already exceeded the upper limit, as long as the zombie keeps its head intact, it will still not die. There is always 1 point of blood on the blood bar. This is probably the conflict between the online game template and reality. Joe Zakan glanced at his soaring weapon level and attributes, and had no intention of stopping at all. The online game template loaded by the system can be upgraded without killing monsters. Just like that, Joe Zakan just brushed all night. Prodigals away logs into the game. I have 3 levels of headers to log into the game. Smash your skull to log into the game. Forever drop God to log in the game. Shiyifu logs into the game. After the login information swiped the screen, Wu Lianzuo quickly appeared out of thin air in the aisle. This is where they were last forced offline. Top game room. 8 hours of game time. Take off from Wuvu. As soon as the prodigals away returned to the isle, he shouted excitedly, "Today we can have a good time." What do you think the old man in Shinsho village is doing? I noticed Joe Zakan stabbing a zombie with a bayonet in the aisle. Wu Lianzuo walked over to take a look, and immediately put on a pain mask on his face. All you can see is bloody minced meat. The zombies cut by bayonets have built a mountain bag at the entrance. Even if the negative feedback was adjusted to 0%, this strong visual impact almost made Wu Lian sit up vomiting. WDNMD. How did this game pass the review? Wu Lianzuo couldn't help but have this doubt in his heart. After a while, they turned their attention back to Joe Zakan. Have you noticed that this NPC is much stronger than yesterday? Shi Yifu was the first to notice something wrong with Joe Zakan. Joe Zechuan's skyrocketing attributes had already applied to his appearance. Before, his weak body with attributes less than 10 was now stronger than a fitness trainer. If my guess is right, NPCs can also be upgraded by killing monsters. Shi Yifu analyzed. You don't mean to say that this NPC spent a whole night leveling here, do you? Everlasting God said in shock. Shi Yifu looked up at Joe Zechuan's dark circles, nodded and said, "It should be like this. I guess the level and attributes of this NPC have increased a lot. The NPCs are all angry. How can we players slack off?" Prodigals Away was about to rush out with a kitchen knife. Wait a minute, didn't you notice that the weapon in this NPC's hand is a bit unusual? Shi Yifu held Prodigals Away back. A 20 centimeters bayonet, nothing special. Look at the broken corpse on the ground again. Shi Yifu pointed to the skull that had been cut into several pieces on the ground. Ah, this. The Prodigals Away was dumbfounded. Can the skull be cut directly? Is the incision so smooth? This bayonet is a bit tricky. My third level head on the side also noticed the clue, took a deep breath and said, "If we have a weapon like this, zombies, it's a dur." Grandpa of Shinsho village. No, Joe Zakan, Brother Chuan, do you still have such a bayonet in your hand? If you still have it, we can pay for it. Shi Yifu has already started to ask. I told you yesterday that you can't afford it. Joe Zakan lowered his eyelids and said weakly, "After you kill the zombies, come ask me about weapons. Now, I'm going to sleep, don't come to me until the zombies are killed." With a bang, Joe Zakan closed the door after entering room 1501. After a little cleaning, Joe Zakan lay on the bed to check the results of his liver all night. Knife, LV1 right pointing arrow LV10. Constitution, 39 right pointing arrow 40. Strength, 18 right pointing arrow 20. Agility, 7 right pointing arrow 11. Intelligence, 10 right pointing arrow 11. After the knife level and attributes are high, the experience gained has decreased a lot. Now attacking E-level zombies, the experience of the knife level is almost 0. If you want to continue leveling, you have to find some high-level monsters. Joe Zakan concluded by himself. Moreover, we have to collect more mission information. We can only issue low-level missions to players, and earn too few points. But now, let's rest first, the stamina is not enough, and the sand value is starting to drop like crazy. Joe Zakan ate some food, restored his satiety to 65%, and fell into a deep sleep. In the aisle, Wu Lianzuo was picking up the piled-up corpses, and they were in a hurry to go out to complete the task of remove threat. After seeing Joe Zakan killing zombies with ease, they were even more eager to get a good weapon. By the way, where's Star City Stark? Why hasn't that apocalyptic game master come online yet? Prodigals Away asked Saikisuke while holding back his nausea and shredding corpses. It's only 6 o'clock in the morning. You think they are all like us, and they went online just after refreshing the system supervision. Shi Yifu looked at the time and replied, "But I also reminded him that this game must be the first to seize the opportunity, don't have to wait too long." The other four breathed a sigh of relief. It is more at ease to be sure that there is a great master who will go online to lead them. Then, we are now doing the task of killing zombies. Prodigals Away continued to ask, or wait until Star City Stark is online. Let's do the task directly. Shi Yisuke waved his hand, killing 100 zombies is not a difficult task for that guy. During the conversation, Wu Lianzuo got into the corridor from the entrance of the aisle. Credit goes to Joe Zakan for the whole evening. He had almost completely emptied the zombies at the entrance of the corridor on the 15th floor. More zombies are now located on other floors. This kind of E-class zombie is very weak. We carry weapons. As long as we are not surrounded in open terrain, we will basically not be in danger. Shiyifu thought for a while, and suggested, let's just keep rushing at the entrance of the corridor. There are still some waste bricks here, which can be piled up to set up some obstacles, and then go to pull the zombies over. Quote. Under Shiyisuke's command, Wulianzuo began to use waste materials to arrange fortifications. First block the upper corridor with waste bricks, rubble and a large number of zombie remains. They don't want to be surrounded by zombies on the upper floor when pulling monsters from the lower floor. The next step is to arrange a narrow passage that allows several zombies to pass through. After working on the fortifications for more than an hour, Wu Lianzi's physical strength was exhausted by about 10%. The bodies constructed by the system are all perfect and healthy. If they really want their bodies to travel over, just moving these bricks will be tiring. The next step is the most important part. Shiyifu said in a deep voice, pull monsters. If you pull less, it will be inefficient. If you pull too much, it will easily destroy our group. Such an important job should be done by someone with good stature. While Shiyifu was speaking, he looked at the prodigals away. Prodigals away was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, you want me to pull monsters? Are you afraid that I won't come back? With the prodigals away's rich experience in shuttling through crowds of people and dying violently, it is really possible to pull monsters and pull people away. The best of our agility is you. With your operation, as long as your thinking is correct, this kind of zombie can't do anything to you. Prodigals away raised his eyebrows when he heard the words, I suspect that you are implying that I have no brains in playing games, but I have no proof. I had the third-level leader nodding in agreement. It's true to hear what you said. This guy has top-notch laning skills and full of operational details. He just often fumbles around. He's a typical example of having hands but no brains. Prodigals away. Don't push it, this job belongs to you. Eternal God also raised his hands in agreement. Zombies can't interact with you by highlighting and typing, there is no reason to come up. After a brief discussion, it was unanimously decided to let the prodigals away perform the important task of pulling monsters. The remaining 4 people waited behind the obstacle, ready to kill zombies at any time. The prodigals away curled his lips and could only throw away the garbage he had just picked up. After reducing the burden, he carefully groped along the guardrail to the lower floor. Arriving at the entrance, seeing the situation on the 14th floor, the prodigals away shrank his neck suddenly. Wong Defa. The narrow corridors on the 14th floor are densely packed with zombies. The density is comparable to tourists traveling on holidays. Just a single sound will attract dozens of zombies. How can I do this? Prodigals away frowned. With Suo Zij's experience in nearly 10,000 games in the game warehouse, Prodigals away does have a unique understanding of body skills. But the scene in front of me. He has no room to maneuver at all. Zombies move slowly and have a single pattern. Maybe it can be like this. After thinking for a while, Prodigals away climbed up the guardrail and jumped down to the 14th floor with a snap. Roar. The sound immediately attracted the attention of the zombies, and the roar resounded through the entire residential building again. All the zombies in the residential building run away. Faced with the support of this group of fanatical fans, the prodigals away avoided it very calmly. The zombies' rotting arms couldn't touch him at all. As Saikisuke described, as long as the prodigal son Hui's thoughts are not in trouble, zombies of this strength will not pose a threat to him at all. After going back and forth like this a few times, it should be almost the same. Prodigals away climbed the guardrail and shuttled back and forth between the 13th and 15th floors. Forcibly find a trace of operating space in the dense crowd of zombies. The group of zombies followed the prodigals away up and down. Several of the zombies finally lost their footing and fell down. The fall of these zombies set off a cascading effect. Not long after, the densely packed zombies were all crowded into the corridor. With their behavior patterns, they will never even think about standing up again by their own abilities in this lifetime. The prodigals away easily attracted the zombies who were still able to move to the 15th floor. Saikisuke, who had already been prepared, quickly cleared away the monsters pulled over. Are there only 7 zombies? Too few. The 5 of us can kill zombies in one hit with a little stability, and the speed of killing monsters is still good. Saikisuke took a deep breath and said, wait a minute. You can pull a wave of about 20, we should be able to eat it. Prodigal Zoe didn't move, but smiled and said, don't pull monsters, let's go down together. Although these zombies are very weak, if they are surrounded. Don't worry, there is absolutely no danger. Under the strong suggestion of Lang Zoe, Wu Lianzuo walked out of the fortification. When they reached the 14th floor, the other 4 were all dumbfounded. You did it. Saikisuke looked at the squeezed and piled up zombies in front of him, with a look of disbelief. Now these zombies are meat on the chopping board, let them slaughter them. Zombies have no brains, I move up and down, pull them and it's like this. Prodigal Zoe shrugged, as if this was an extremely normal thing. You have something. If we operate it, it is possible to achieve such an effect, but it is absolutely impossible to guarantee that we will not be injured. I was also surprised to have a 3rd level head. When Nakano and the field teamed up to kill and send, I really didn't expect him to be so good. That's right, it's a zombie after all. Facing other players, the Prodigal Zoe probably sent them off. Prodigal Zoe just waved his hand, said nothing, with a calm expression. Let him pretend. The other 4 all revealed contemptuous expressions. After the prodigal son were installed, the next step was pure harvest time. It didn't take long for 100 zombies to be filled. Bang, bang, bang. Wulian sat back to the 15th floor, and Saikisuke knocked in front of room 1501. They can't wait to receive their mission rewards. WDNMD. Didn't you say that the zombies will come to me after killing enough? How long has it been? Joe Zakan opened the door cursingly, glaring at the players who came to hand in the quest. Oops, forget about this NPC who didn't sleep all night. Now that we're here to look for him, his favorability must have dropped again. Shiisuke touched his neck, shouting in his heart that he was wrong. At this time, I don't care about the NPC's favorability. The key is to quickly choose the right weapon for leveling. Forever D. Shen interjected. That's true, we are now the chopper team, and it will be difficult to play in the later stage. Joe Zakan narrowed his eyes listening to the discussion among the players. 100 zombies, these guys killed so fast. Bro, are you hanging? Using some small tricks, it shouldn't be considered a bug. In short, it is very easy to complete the task of removing threats. Seeing the puzzled expression on Joe Zechuan's face, Shiifu explained the process of killing the zombies. Is it okay? Joe Zakan directly leaked the black question mark face. Why do you explain so much to the NPC, we just hand in the task. I had a 3rd level head urging. This game has a strong sense of substitution. The NPC is regarded as a real person unconsciously. Saikisuke smiled, and he also felt that his behavior seemed a bit redundant. Wu Lianzuo chose to submit the task. The system automatically issues task rewards. 10 silver per person, plus choose a weapon or armor from the options given by the system. Prodigal Zoe picked out a favorite weapon, an iron taidao. Scrap iron sword. Quality: white ordinary. Physical attack power: 8 to 13. Durability: 15/15. Face the blast. After getting the taidao, the Prodigal Zoe waved it impatiently, chanting Suo Zige's lines in his mouth. It's over, this guy is about to start again. I sighed with my head on my forehead. Whenever the Prodigal Zoe starts to recite his lines, it is usually when he delivers the most powerful. Don't worry, there are very few players now, he can't make waves, he shouldn't be able to make waves. Saikisuke was also a little worried. After Prodigal Zoe's secondary school time ended, the other 4 also picked out the task rewards. I chose a boxing glove from the 3rd level leader, who is the old blind boy of Wancheng. Smash your skull and choose armor, fight against pressure on the road, and the team master's tea. Forever God chose a wooden bow and 10 arrows, the core shooter. Saikisuke. After much deliberation, he chose a wooden scepter whose attack power was not even as strong as steel bars. He always felt that there should be a mage's profession in this game. Otherwise, it would be too boring to simply fight zombies with cold weapons and hot weapons, and this game will definitely not last long. As the team commander, Saikisuke's consideration is to take control. If there is a Fae in this game, it is also a good choice for him to play a Fae support who controls the flow. After receiving the task reward, Wu Lianzuo did not forget to receive a new personal task. Joe Zakan was really sleepy, so he issued the material collection task to Wu Lianzuo without thinking too much. Then I said that the store is temporarily closed, and then disturb my sleep, and nail you all to the wall. Facing such an irritable NPC, Wu Lianzuo has gradually gotten used to it. They walked obediently to the entrance of the aisle. At this time, there was an extra player logo on the map. Star City Stark is online. I was urged to go online early in the morning. What end of the world game is something I haven't played before? Star City Stark was eating breakfast in his shelter. Looking at the phone, there are dozens of messages on WeQ from Shi-Yisuke. Everything can be summed up in one sentence. Top post-apocalyptic games, grab resources, hurry up. Close black lens bracket. Stark couldn't help shaking his head when he saw the message. Shi-Yisuke is also a well-known game businessman in the circle. Why does he act like he has never seen the world? No matter what the game is, it shouldn't be so exciting. After breakfast, Star City Stark was going to enter the game room to find out. There is a super large game cabin in his shelter, which is the supreme luxury version limited in the world. It was originally the configuration limit, plus his own transformation. This game warehouse can keep players offline for 72 hours. And, it will not have the slightest side effect on the body. After leaving the warehouse, you only need to rest for 7 to 9 hours to fully recover. After entering the game room, Star City Stark searched for the game name True Doomsday obtained from Shi-Yisuke. As soon as he opened the game introduction interface, he frowned. Hey guy, I don't have any game information, just write a 100% realistic end of the world. Sanwoo Products, let's put it here and brag about it. Produced by the NPC System Studio. I have never heard of the name of this studio. Wouldn't it be a game created by a student group from some university? Quote. It's like a work that came out of 3 years of self-study animation and 3 years of self-study to make games. Playing it really makes the scalp numb. Star City Stark already has the urge to directly X the game. But, based on the attitude of experiencing even the worst end of the world game, plus the favor owed to the world, Star City Stark still clicked to start the game. After some rough novice guidance, Star City Stark appeared in the alley at the birth point. Hiss. Ah. This. Star City Stark, like the previous Wu Lianzuo, was shocked by the picture that was exactly the same as the reality in front of him. How could it be so real? Can't find any flaws. As a rich high-end player, Star City Stark has experienced the so-called super next-generation realistic games with full picture quality and full details. It's close to confusing the real ones, but after careful study, the traces of the game can still be clearly seen. But this game, as long as those so-called online game modules are blocked, this is another world. Moreover, the game experience like before is only more than 10 seconds, not even a game demo. And now, there are 100% realistic games that are directly listed. He was stunned and didn't receive any news. Star City Stark, who considers himself a top game player, felt a little dissatisfied. After he decides to quit the game, he must ask the top management of game companies such as Kamiao, G-Lausch, and Stupid Donkey. How the hell do you guys make the game? The realistic experience of more than 10 seconds has been done for more than 10 years, and people here have uploaded the complete client to the game platform. Star City Stark also knows why Shi-Yifu is so eager to let him go online. This game is epic making. With this realistic picture quality technology alone, it is impossible to have a product that can surpass this game in the next few years. Perhaps it will be possible only if the NPC System Studio releases a new game. In the future, it will be very difficult for me to experience a shortage of games. Star City Stark nodded with a smile. There is no doubt that he intends to stay in this game forever. Then it's time to experience the gameplay. Well, the first step, to collect basic resources. As a core player of survival in the last days, Star City Stark is very clear. The most important thing in the land reclamation period is the accumulation of resources, rather than thinking about fighting monsters and upgrading as soon as you enter the game. Pulling trees, rolling iron, and picking up garbage are the top priorities. Looking at the traces, the alley should have been cleared by other players, so I don't need to stay here any longer. Star City Stark walked towards the alley while observing. There are no traces of fighting on the street. The few zombies are all facing a neighborhood in front. It is very likely that the zombies here were pulled in that direction by the player. Quote. Star City Stark looked at the scene in front of him and analyzed. In this case, it is safe for me to search for resources here. He bent down, dodged the zombies and walked towards a fairly complete house next to him, ready to search for resources. There will probably be an open door kill here, I have to be careful. Years of experience in end-apocalyptic games slowed down his opening of the door. When he opened the door, no zombies rushed towards him. Star City Stark breathed a sigh of relief and walked in. And just as he was about to close the door, his ankles were suddenly grabbed by a pair of rotten hands. Looking down, it was a ferocious zombie. A gust of cold air rushed straight to the forehead of Stark. After struggling to break free, he couldn't help shouting. I'm ashamed of you, Mama, don't let me. Ah, this dog didn't follow the routine of the game. The door opening kill in other games means that after the door is opened, zombies rush out, so let's do a jump scare. You're good at this game. Zombies are behind the door as Lord Voldemort. Who the hell can resist this? Star City Stark retreated, cursing. It's not that he hasn't seen more scary designs in other games. But in true end times, the ferocious face of the zombie coupled with the incomparably real touch of the ankle. This has surpassed the horror that man-made design can bring. At that moment, Star City Stark completely forgot that he was in a game. The incomparable reality in the senses made him really think that he was going to die. This game is so exciting. Stark rubbed the cold sweat on his head. It seems, it is necessary to play seriously. Star City Stark took a few deep breaths. As a high-level player, he adjusted his mentality quickly. The zombies on the ground were still crawling towards him. Star City Stark glanced at the kitchen, where there were some knives. Avoiding the zombies on the ground, Star City Stark successfully got a fruit knife from the kitchen. Then it stabbed straight in from the back of the zombie's neck. -61, the damage floated out, and the zombie was easily dropped. More footsteps and the roar of zombies sounded. Several zombies outside the door were attracted by the previous squeak sound. Seeing this, Stark of Star City rushed forward and closed the half-hidden door tightly. Outside the door, the sound of bang, bang, bang began to ring non-stop, but it did not cause substantial damage. Star City Stark observed through the window next to him, and after confirming that he was not in danger, he let out a long breath of foul air. According to the system prompt, this is an E-rank zombie, which should be the weakest monster in this game. Star City Stark recorded while observing. My movement speed is 10 points. Then the movement speed of these E-rank zombies is about 5 to 6 points. As the lowest level monster, it should not have the ability to accelerate violently. Such zombies' flying kites are easy to solve. Quote, Star City Stark took the trouble to record it at all. He knew that there was no information on this game. It is especially important to record the characteristics of the monster ability by yourself. These handwritten information can even be sold to other players as strategic information in the future. Now the zombies can't get in, so I can search this building carefully. Star City Stark clenched the fruit knife in his hand, not daring to relax at all. Now that Voldemort zombies have appeared, there is a possibility that they will continue to do this to you in a certain corner. Really, in front of the wardrobe in the master bedroom, as soon as Stark opened the door, a corpse fell towards him. Even though he was mentally prepared, Star City Stark was still a little scared. Fortunately, he dodged it with a lateral movement, and did not let the corpse jump on him. Not a zombie. Stark leaned over to check carefully. Like the zombies outside, the decay is not serious, and they should also be infected with G-virus. The appearance is a bit similar to the photo placed in the bedside cabinet, and he is the owner of this building. It's just, how could he die in his closet? Bullet hole in temple, suicide. Doesn't that mean? Stark immediately turned around and searched the closet, and found a pistol. Obtained the P18C pistol. Get a pistol silencer. P18C pistol. Normal. White normal. Physical attack power. 85 muffler -5. Rate of fire. 375. Magazine capacity. 0.17. Durability. 15/15. Stark looked at the properties of the pistol and was immediately startled. A pistol with a silencer. How the hell am I so lucky to open up Wasteland for the first time? In the post-apocalyptic survival games I played in the past, it took me a long time to get a decent weapon. Hot weapons, it is possible to make them after upgrading the cost. Now, find a gun at the beginning, luck is not so good. The photo is of a couple, and the one below is a female zombie. Then there is no threat to this building. Next, Star City Stark entered the full search mode. In the small 3-story Western-style building, even a book of notes placed on the table was not overlooked. Backpacks, bulletproof vests, batons, 10 9mm bullets, explosion-proof shields, and some miscellaneous supplies, all of which were sorted out by him. The preliminary material collection is not bad, and then we have to find a suitable place to settle down. Star City Stark has noticed that his game characters are losing stamina and satiety. These are two values related to life. If you want to survive for a long time, you must find a place where you can plant and settle down. At the very least, secure food sources. It's a pity that except for the area I have explored on the system map, the rest is dark. Those who are not within their field of vision are also shrouded in a fog. You can't get much information just by looking at the map. In this way, Star City Stark will have to carry out the familiar land reclamation work. Run the map and open your horizons. Stark looked at the map and began to plan the route. At this moment, there was a sudden sound of fierce fighting on the street. Looking through the window, Stark found a group of people fighting with the zombies on the street. Among them is an id that he is very familiar with, Psychisuke. Break your skull. I have attracted the hatred of these zombies, you output quickly. I have a 3rd level head. I'm hammering. But my fist can't kill zombies in seconds. I seem to have chosen the wrong weapon. Prodigals away. Ha, saw. Sure enough, I still have to rely on me. One knife kills one zombie. Forever God. No. Can you not block my vision? There is no aiming aid in this game. Don't blame me when the next arrow hits your head. Shiisuke, who was holding a wooden scepter, did not join the battle, but directed while looking at the little red dot on the map. Skull, run towards 9 o'clock and pull the zombies away. Level 3, come back. Your attack has a repelling effect. Although you can't kill zombies in seconds, you can keep us in the back row. Prodigals away, why don't you rush into the pile of zombies, fly a kite and beat them? If you die in the waves, our speed of cleaning up the zombies will be a lot slower. Forever God, you, try not to accidentally hurt your teammates. When the zombies on the battlefield had been harvested, Shiisuke walked to a small Western-style building on the street and knocked on the door and shouted. Come out, it's safe outside. Opening the door, Stark appeared in Shiisuke's sight with a baton in his left hand and an explosion-proof shield in his right. I remember that you can't spend money in this game, right? Shiifu looked at Stark's equipment in Star City, and immediately revealed a black question mark face. This equipment is much more luxurious than theirs. Their equipment can still be obtained by doing tasks. Fortunately, I directly searched the home of a law enforcement officer. Star City Stark looked towards the battlefield and asked, are they from your studio? I haven't been a game businessman for a long time, what kind of studio should I open? Psychisuke waved his hand and explained, these are friends who have been playing with since childhood. No wonder, the tacit understanding of the style of play that wasn't practiced in the studio can only be honed with time. Star City Stark suddenly. Our technology is not very good, but the tacit understanding is still good, which is why I think we can make a fortune in this game. Shiisuke smiled and said, PvP competitive games may not be able to beat other players. But in PvE to push the boss, cooperation is more important than individual skills, our 5-member team is still competitive. Quote. During the conversation between the two, the remaining zombies on the battlefield were cleaned up. After sorting out the other 4 members of Wulianzuo, they came to Saikisuke's side. How's it going, are you harmless? Saikisuke looked at them and asked. Prodigals away and the others nodded. That's good. Restoration items are quite expensive, so save as much as you can. Shiifu helped to introduce. By the way, this is the master of survival games in the last days, Star City Stark. These are my sons. Quote, Star City Stark. In reality, he is also a big bull. Good God, I've only seen the DIY video of the great god before, but today I finally saw it alive. Hey, wait a minute, who do you say is your son? After the prodigals away and the others realized it, they almost started a live-action PK. Have you found the store for this game? Stark's attention was on useful information, he asked aloud. Shiifu replied. There is an NPC who sells recovery items, 50 copper each. Judging from the current monetary income, it is relatively expensive. Alas, game currency, mission rewards. NPCs can receive missions. I have tried selling items to NPC, but he doesn't seem to like it. So, there is currently no other way to earn in-game currency. Quote. Before Stark in Star City asked more questions, Saikisuke had already given the answer. Stark nodded. I can't find any information about this game, so I can only explore an open-up wasteland. By the way, have you found a place to settle down now? Angia, do you mean setting the resurrection point? The prodigals away replied. Our resurrection point is set in the front community, next to the old man in Shinsho village. I originally planned to pull you into the resurrection point and resurrect you from death, but now these zombies can't pose a threat to us at all, so they just kill them and pick up some supplies to go back. Resurrection point. Star City Stark wanted to continue asking questions, but was interrupted by Shiifu. This is the end of the world anyway, it is not appropriate for us to discuss this on the street. Stark said with a smile. That's right, let's go in and chat slowly, we have confirmed that there is no danger inside. A group of people walked into the small foreign building. The prodigals away who had just entered the door jumped suddenly and almost committed seppuku. Hey, why is there a zombie crawling on the ground? Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe my channel.